Hi, I'm Jay Druba. I'm the race director of the Carmel Marathon Weekend, and I wanted to give you some course tips and insights for the full and half marathon courses. Both of those courses start and finish in the same spot, so great energy at the start-finish line. It is a slight uphill at the start. Once you turn about a quarter mile in, you're going to turn onto range line, and from there it's a slight downhill to flat for a long stretch, all the way down range line to 106th and up Hazel Dell. It's a great place to just stay in a rhythm, get comfortable. No hills, still good crowd at that point. Once you get to mile 7, you are going to encounter some hills. So you'll enter a neighborhood right at mile 7. There's a little punch climb in there. It's not a long hill, but it's a little bit steep. And then you leave out of that neighborhood and you get onto 126th Street. And there's a little bit of a hill, a climb up to Clay Middle School. Once you get past that hill, you get past the middle school around mile 8 or so, then it's flat for a couple miles and you can kind of settle back in and get back into a rhythm. The last real hill on that half marathon course is around mile 12. You get back onto the Monon Trail and you kind of go up this ramp to get onto the trail. So again, it's not long, it's not overly steep, but it's just something to be aware of, and it's at mile 12 of a half marathon, so it's when you're tired, and just being aware that it's there can help. And then you've got range line coming home. The last half mile or so can be a little bit of a I call it a false flat. It's a gradual incline. It doesn't look like much of a hill, but you sure feel it in the last half mile of a race. And then once you turn to come to the finish line, the last quarter of a mile or so is downhill. Feels great. It's a great time to kind of turn off the brain, coast into the finish, and celebrate your finish. One of the things that I love about these courses and that our runners really appreciate is that the half and the full marathoners get to share the first 13 miles of the course. So you get great crowd support, people to run with, and then right before the finish line, the full marathoners kind of split off, and you'll get to run right past the finish line through all those crowds, right past the band playing, right past the beer garden. So you get to see what you have to look forward to once you finish. From there, you're going to get on the Monon and head south. It's relatively flat. There are a couple of parts on the Monon where you kind of go under or over streets. So just be aware there's some hills there. They're not very steep, but there is some up and down on that part of the course. From there, the next real hill is at about mile 18 and a half. So this is an overpass where you're going to go over Highway 31. Again, not a steep hill, but it's a tough part of the course. It's 18 and a half, so it's the part where you've been out there for a while and you're starting to get tired. So that's a good one to be aware of as well. And if you get a chance to go run that part of the course, I recommend it. From there, it's relatively flat. It's through a residential area. You get to go up Spring Mill, which is a beautiful part of the city. And then the next hill to kind of be aware of is at about mile 22 and a half, where you transition from Illinois to Oak Ridge and onto Roar Road. There's kind of a long gradual climb on that part of the course to be aware of. And again, once you get onto the Monon, at about mile 24, there's a ramp that gets up onto that trail. Not steep, but it is there, and it's at mile 24 when everybody's gassed and you don't want to be running hills. So that's another good one if you can go run it before the race, or at least see it. It's a good one to be familiar with. From there, you get to run down the Monon. It's a long, very gradual downhill. You get to run through Midtown Plaza, which is one of the best parts of the course. And then you've got that false flat again on range line just before the finish, the last half mile or so. And then the turn onto City Center, you've got the downhill finish that you get to enjoy for the second time on that course. That's it. Hope that helps. If you get a chance to get out and look at the course, it's always recommended. We hope you'll join us this April, and good luck with your training.